This is my very small book collection. I've been reading for about, properly for about 3 years, and basically I read on paperbacks exclusively until I got my Kindle, and then I only read on my Kindle now. So this is my full book collection, and I'm not likely to be adding to it. At the bottom, let me just move some stuff out the way. At the bottom here, you can see that I've got my Sarah J Maas collection. So I have all the books apart from book 2 and 3 of Crescent City. And for the Throne of Glass, I have it in the sort of older cover. Let me just move these out of the way. Have them in the older cover, and I love the new cover, but I also much prefer the old cover because look, the badass girl on the front. You've got the dress on the back, and they're well loved. They've got Broken Spine. So I have all the Throne of Glass books, and then I have ACOTAR here, and then the last book of Crescent City. Yeah, that's the one. In terms of my favourites, definitely this boy. ACOTAR. I read Throne of Glass, and then ACOTAR, and then Crescent City. So it's in the order I read them. I read some books in the middle of each of them. I didn't read them like straight because they are heavy. Throne of Glass, to be honest, all the books just blur into one. I can't remember what happens in each. I definitely think this book just started it all for me, as it has for most readers. I read a little bit before that, but this got me. This was my first ever fantasy book, so yeah. I don't have to say much more about the series, I'm not gonna lie, because it's perfect. And then up here, we have some standalone books, really. Before I read any of the Sarah J Maas books, I read Maze Runner up here. I watched the movie in English class and was like, oh my god, what is this? Found out it was a book, and then read all 3 books. I've got Divergent, which is a movie I also love, and love the book. I only read the first book. And then here in the sort of middle, these 3, The Forbidden Friends is the book that got me into reading, before I became a reader, as in reading every day. I read now and again, or I read a book a year and stuff, which is absolutely fine. But I actually accidentally stole this from the library at school because I didn't realise I was stealing it at the time. Basically, I was in Italian class watching a movie with subtitles, and I was so bored, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk, pretending I was going to the toilet, walked past the library, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in the library, saw this book, picked it up, put it under my shirt and walked out, completely I was put it under my shirt so I could sneak it back into class, but had no recognition of I was actually stealing it from the library. So yeah. And then The Letters to the Lost is a book that I really like, and same of The One Memory of Flora Banks. I read them quite a long time ago. Then I've got The White Giraffe, which is this one, which my nana, my grandma, used to read me when she babysat me. She'd read a chapter of it. So that's a book that's precious to me and close to my heart. And then similar to the others, Bright Place, I read at the same time, and then Once Upon a Time and Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Red Queen, I read sort of in between my sort of Throne of Glass books. And that's it. That's my, I forgot the pet. That's just small stories about things I got as a present. And this is my collection. I've obviously got the mangas up here, which I actually haven't finished yet, and I put them on display like that because I just think the covers are gorgeous. And they're too big to fit like the rest of them. And then this one is sort of tilted because otherwise it sort of goes a bit weird. But yeah, that's my book collection. I hope this sort of encourages you to embrace your small book collections. Although I personally think this is a lot of books. But it's obviously nothing compared to some of the bookshelves that some other people have. But to embrace reading on Kindle and just keeping the books that you love, because I had some others, but when I moved down out of my parents' house, I had a huge cull. So these were the books that actually had meaning to me and I wanted to keep, rather than just books that I have read. And yeah, stay tuned if you'd like to see what's on my Kindle, because I can tell you that there's a lot more books on my Kindle than there is on physical copies, which is great for the space in the house because I honestly don't know where I would put the books if I had them all on paperback. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye!